Let's take a couple of minutes to check out the subwoofer settings when your system is set up in standard mode on your Pioneer NEX in-dash receiver. Even though your particular in-dash receiver may have buttons on the side or across the bottom like this one, the on-screen operation in this demonstration is identical for the following Pioneer NEX models: AVH 1300 NEX, AVH 1330 NEX, MVH 2300 NEX, AVH 2300 NEX, AVH 2330 NEX, AVH 3300 NEX. Alright, so I'm on the AM/FM radio source right now, but this could be any source. And to adjust the subwoofer settings, I'm going to touch the gears. And I want to come down to the speaker, that's my audio settings. And I want to scroll down here until I find my subwoofer settings. But you can see that the subwoofer settings are grayed out. So I can't touch them because it's grayed out. So let's scroll up a little bit here and make sure that the subwoofer is switched on. So we'll switch the subwoofer on, and now you can see that the subwoofer settings are available to us. So we will open the subwoofer settings. This takes us directly to our crossover and slope settings for the subwoofer output. So right now we're on subwoofer. Now on this we can also move over to check the front RCA outputs and speaker level outputs and the rear, because we're set up in our standard mode in this. And so if we scroll back, we can get to the subwoofer, and we can change the crossover point, and we have a wide variety of crossover points to choose from, all the way from 25 Hertz all the way up to 250 Hertz. So we have a wide variety of crossover points to choose from here: 25, 31.5, there's 40 Hertz, 50, 63, 80, 100, 125, 200, and 250 Hertz. Now on any of these settings, we have our choice of slopes for the crossover as well. So I'm going to bring this back a little here. We'll make it 40 Hertz for right now. Maybe we'll make it a little higher. How about 50? On any of these crossover points, I can make my slope for the crossover 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, or 36 dB per octave. So whatever crossover point that I choose, I also need to choose a slope, and that can go all the way up to 36 dB per octave. I have my phase control over here. Right now we're in a normal phase. If we touch that, we can switch the subwoofer output to its reverse phase. And be sure to check both the normal and reverse phase in your vehicle. One of them may sound significantly better than the other depending upon your setup. Now on this screen, I can adjust the crossover point and the slope and the phase, but I can't adjust the output of the crossover, the output of the subwoofer, to make it a little higher or a little lower. We'll need to go to another screen for that. So let's go back up. And for that, we want to go to our speaker level screen. And right here is the subwoofer output that we can choose to make a little higher or a little lower. Now with the speaker level output, you have an independent level control for each speaker in the vehicle as compared to the other speakers. For best audio quality, be sure to keep each of these settings at 0 or lower. Now let's go back out to an audio source. We're just going to hit the X here. And I want to get back into that speaker level setting and make another adjustment. So I have to touch the gears, and that takes me automatically to my favorites, but I have nothing registered in my favorites. So I have to go to the audio settings, then I need to scroll down here to the speaker level and open that to get back to my subwoofer setting. But let's make that a little easier to use. So I'm going to go back up to my speaker level here and put that gold star beside speaker. Now I'm going to hit the X to escape. Now, when I touch the gears, that takes me directly to my favorites, and speaker level is one of my favorites. Makes it very easy to get there and make an adjustment to my subwoofer output or any other speaker in the system. There's one additional subwoofer setting to take note of. If you choose to use the speaker level outputs in this system, you can, if you want, use the rear speakers to power a small subwoofer. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to hit the X here to go out, and we'll touch the gears again and go back to our audio settings. Let's scroll down to the bottom here. And here we see rear speaker output, but it's grayed out. We can't get to it. That's because we need to switch the audio source off. So we're just going to touch the home button here and bring up our audio sources. Here's the source. We'll switch that off. Now let's go back into our audio settings. Scroll down to the bottom, and here is our rear speaker output. Right now, the rear speaker output, now this applies to the speaker output only, not the RCA output. Rear speaker output is set to full range, or rear. If we touch that, we can make that rear speaker output a subwoofer output with the subwoofer crossovers that we're using, and it can power a small subwoofer from the head unit. So I'm going to set that back to rear speaker output for right now. We'll hit the X and choose a source.